The cable management's going to be interesting in this case. It's going to be pretty tight, I reckon. Well, there goes the motherboard. GG. Welcome everybody. Today I'll be showing some benchmark performance of a PC I built live on my Twitch channel. So if you enjoy, please leave a thumbs up and let's get into the benchmarks. First up, we have PUBG on the medium preset and unlimited FPS cap during gameplay. The GPU was 95% utilized while the CPU was hovering around the 65 to the 75 mark and average kept above 100 FPS. Rocket League on the highest preset, max FPS cap, GPU was fully utilized and the CPU was consistently changing depending on the situation. Although it didn't cause any in-game micro stutters or any type of shuddering, it played really smooth. The game used about 4 GB of RAM and kept above 120 FPS. Overwatch high preset, unlimited FPS cap. Unfortunately, I didn't capture the settings menu. During gameplay, CPU was 100% utilized, while the GPU was also used to its full potential. The game used about 6 GB of RAM. There were slight micro shutters under a heavy situation. The recommendation would be to either lower the settings or lock the FPS. Battlefield 5 high preset 120 FPS cap. During gameplay, the CPU and the GPU are both being fully utilized. Slight micro shutters were happening during intense situations. The game used average 7 GB of RAM. My recommendations would to be lock the FPS because I tried to lower the graphical settings and I was still getting micro shutters. So I recommend to lock the FPS at 60. Rainbow Six Siege, very high settings, unlimited cap. When I started this game up, it set its own preset, so I left it how it was. So during gameplay, the CPU utilization was hovering in a high usage point while the GPU was being fully utilized. On average, the game used about 5.3 GB of RAM, no shutters were present. Black Ops 4 medium preset. CPU was in the high usage while the GPU was being fully utilized. The RAM usage was on average 7 gig, no shutters were present under intense situations. CSGO highest preset. Unlimited FPS cap. GPU usage was hovering around 70% utilization while the CPU usage was high. 5.5 gig of RAM was used. Fortnite Ultra settings 60 FPS lock. During gameplay, the FPS had to be locked, otherwise we would experience micro shutters during gameplay. The recommendations to fix this issue would to be lower the graphical settings to produce a higher FPS. 6 gig of RAM was utilized. The Witcher 3 high preset. During gameplay, the CPU usage was fluctuating but never hit 100% usage. There were no micro stutters during gameplay and the GPU was fully utilized, being a more GPU dependent game. 6 gig of RAM was used. The Rise of the Tomb Raider medium preset. The GPU was being fully utilized while the CPU was fluctuating between the high 80s to 100 depending on the situation. No shutters were present, 6 gig of RAM used. The Forest high settings. GPU fully utilized while the CPU peaked in the high 50s. Even though the FPS was low during some situations, I do suspect that this game has optimization issues.